Apartheid was one of the most evil social projects the world has ever seen.
South Africa was an example where society was restructured in a way that was not imaginable a few years earlier.
My entire life has been defined by working in some form of social activism, social justice activism. Instead of being in the library, we were often confronting the police about some or other apartheid crime that was being perpetrated.
As a white South African man, I was conscripted to go to the military. For me, that was completely clear. I would never do that. Apartheid segregated. Neighborhoods were segregated.
It was very much in step with the increased demand for cheap black labor.
In the faith context as well, of knowing that we are all equal in the eyes of God. How is that possible? That any system can create or allow that?
Christian Aid has been part of the struggle against apartheid for decades.
Christian Aid did, in the late 80s, really start standing up, and Christian Aid was right in the forefront and started working on these cracks.
In 1990, Mandela was released from prison, and within an hour we had planned a celebratory march. There must have been 10,000 people, and it was organized on the spot. It was the joy of the time. We never thought that this would happen so quickly.
The prophetic voice really rests with communities and people living in poverty, but speaking with them. That was really an example of Christian Aid standing up where people were shouting out, stand up with us. But to take it further, locally led and decolonized ways of working. That was a way of public campaigning that had not previously been done, as far as I'm aware, in that context, and even led the way for later campaigning.
The transition that our new constitution has allowed in terms of the dignity of not being judged according to the color of your skin cannot be overstated. In the search for a new way of doing solidarity, what emerged was Act Ubumbano. And it's effectively a space that holds the relationship between organizations of the global north, of Europe, and from Southern Africa to explore how to deepen our social justice practice. Christian Aid were one of the founding funders of Act Ubumbano and continue to act as one of those founding funders. But I think our relationship is about a lot more than the contribution of funding. It's a space to have conversations. We share perspectives on what it means to be genuinely in solidarity with community struggles in a world that is becoming increasingly hostile to those who are at the margins of society. It's not just about donating money during the fundraising things, but it's about crises elsewhere in the world. Jesus says he's come to bring good news to the poor. For me, it captures everything. And if you're Christ-like, you're always going to have the dignity of the human being and the creation and earth as the core of your faith. If you have that, I think you can do anything.